Hello everyone, my name is Clay, and welcome to First Impact, the show where I take a first impression style look at different games, giving you my thoughts after at least 2 hours of playtime. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at the remaster of the CPRG Geneforge 1 by Spiderweb Software, called Geneforge 1 Mutagen. There's a lot to like in this remaster. The visual style of the game, while basic, is solid, and the UI design and such is really clean and easy to understand. I also like the general design of the world itself. The premise of the game is pretty straightforward. You're a new shaper, heading to your sex island to begin really learning the secrets of the creation of life itself from them. However, en route on a living ship, another large ship appears, attacks you and kills your living ship, and maroons you on an island that the Shapers have barred, meaning that exploration and visiting that island is forbidden. From there, your primary goal becomes to escape that island, and along the way you meet creations of the Shapers left to fend for themselves, and start to get embroiled in the politics between these groups. The lore of the world, the way it's presented, all of this is really well done, and I found the idea of exploring an island abandoned by this group called the Shapers, with their creations being left to fend for themselves, interesting, and I wanted to know more about the history of the island and the people that inhabit it. And thankfully, the mechanics for both exploration and combat are interesting and well done as well. Combat takes place on a grid, in the world at large, and is a turn-based affair. You and your team of created creatures take turns attacking, using items or abilities, all of which cost AP. There are spells, ranged attacks, attack items, and a whole lot more. There are a lot of options here. And most of these options are based on your skills as a shaper. As a shaper, you create life, so your party members are literally creatures created by your character. When you start the game, you're going to pick one of 3 options, which amounts to either a fighter, a mage, or a rogue. Don't get too caught up with this selection, however, as the game is really more of a classless system. Your class selection dictates which skills are more expensive for you to train in, which are cheaper, but anyone can train in anything. I really like this, as I prefer skill-based systems over class-based systems, as it allows me to customize my experience, and there are tons of skills that you can invest in, all of which seem really useful. As you play, you will learn how to build creatures for your party. There are a variety of them filling different roles, and there's a bit of customization for each one of these creatures. You might be able to build a fire-breathing lizard, or a poison-spitting worm, or even a melee-focused brute that explodes on death. Your skills in the shaping skill for each of these will dictate what you can make based on the knowledge that you have found. There is a limit, however, to the number of creations you can control, and it's your essence meter. And this is one of my issues with the game. The essence meter is clearly designed to limit how many creations you can have running around. But mind you, there's already a party limit of 8, meaning that you at most can have 7 creations plus your character. But the essence meter isn't just used for your creations, it's also used for spellcasting. Basically, when you create a new creature, some of your essence is permanently tied up in that creature, meaning that your meter's maximum value lowers. Early on, you might only be able to support 1 or 2 creatures, and if you play a mage like I was, these creatures are nearly required to survive. But by having, say, 2 creatures, you might suddenly only have 10 or 11 maximum essence left. And outside of the basic spells, most spells require essence to cast. Do you want to cast a healing spell on yourself or one of your creatures? Well, that takes both energy and essence. And here's another issue. Energy regenerates over time. Essence doesn't. Rather, essence only comes back if you visit either an essence pool or you use an item. As far as I can tell, there's no way to heal or rest at inns or anything like that, no camping mechanics, so if you want to get your essence back, you either need to consume one of your creatures, which refunds half the essence that they were holding instantaneously, or use an item called an essence pod, or visit an essence pool, which is only in certain locations. This means that you either need to stockpile the essence pods, or constantly return to essence pools to keep your essence topped off. As an example, at level 4 as a shaper or caster, I had a maximum essence of around 35. I have 2 creatures in my party. My remaining essence sits at 11. And outside of my base Firebolt spell, which I started the game with and only takes energy to cast, everything else takes 1 or more essence to cast. And since creatures don't seem to have a way to use items, the only way to heal them is through my healing spell, which uses up my essence. It just gets frustrating trying to balance it all. The other big thing that I have an issue with this game has to do with the camera controls. You can't rebind them, first of all. You either have to use edge scrolling, or use the arrow keys on the keyboard. Additionally, the camera can't be locked onto your main character, nor will it automatically follow your character when the character is moving, meaning you're either constantly scrolling via the edge, or using the arrow keys. Sure, it's kind of a minor issue overall, but it's irritating to me, and it could have easily been fixed. I mean, even games like Arcanum and Baldur's Gate had the option of having a camera follow the main person when they're moving. Oh, and you might have noticed I haven't really mentioned anything about audio or music yet. Well, frankly, that's because outside the title screen, there's no music in the game. Really, there's no BGM. Hell, as far as I can tell, there aren't any environmental sound effects like wind or crickets or anything. You get some basic combat sounds, and that's it. And this is really a miss for me. A good soundtrack can make a game, can set a mood, and I really felt the lack of music when I played. You absolutely need your own soundtrack here, and given the sheer amount of royalty-free music that only requires credits added, I really think the developer could have gone out and just gotten some fantasy music and stuck it in here. Overall, as much as I like the game, I only spent about 4.5 hours with it before the issues with Essence and the camera really got to me. I am curious about other Spiderweb software games, and I might look at them in the future, but for now, this is about as far as I want to go with this one. And I do want to thank the Indie Brothers PR team for giving me a key for this review. I do think that if you like what you're seeing here, you should absolutely give this game a shot. It's not for me, but it is a well-designed, well-written game overall, and it's not too expensive at $20 on Steam, Good Old Games, and even the Epic Games Store. As always, I want to thank you all so very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button, as it does help my channel get out there. And hey, be kind to each other, stay nerdy, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.